hope everybody's got their order in so that we'll come to eat when it comes out. So we're just glad to have you all here so we can discuss and hear from the speaker today. What else we got? The chamber update. I've been gone for 3 weeks, kind of out of the loop a little bit. Maybe Jack has a better idea of what's going on.
So actually right now we're cleaning up the Chamber Event Center. We're trying to do it early this year. Last year we had a real bad problem with bullthorns when we had a couple of events. And that's because the undergrowth had dried out before we had a chance to take care of it. So this year we wanted to catch it early so we can kind of minimize any kind of bullthorns that might be around the event center. It was kind of an issue last year when we had a couple of events. The hallway was just inundated with bullthorns as people was going to the restroom and stuff like that. So we wanted to make sure we didn't have that kind of issue this year. As far as the event center itself, we're working on the green room. We're going to be starting construction on that pretty soon. And then we got a couple of grants we're going to be closing out tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And we're going to be meeting at the chamber. The other thing is, I'm sorry?
What's a green room?
A green room is where performers have an area to dress and rest before they go on stage. So it'll be kind of half green room, half storage as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but they call those green rooms. And any big entertainer you would have would expect a green room to relax and get ready for the performance, tune out, practice, that kind of stuff. Next month, May 20th, are the elections. The elections will be held here. We will have arrangements for trying to think of the name of the ballot. It's just mental blank. Not the mail-in ballots, but the somebody help me.
Write-ins?
Huh?
Write-ins?
No. Where they can come in and actually they can vote at the chamber prior. So we'll have a day set up for that.
Oh, they draw one.
There's a name for that ballot. I just can't think of it right now.
Jack, when are
Absentee ballot?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
If
you.
you owe me a
Absentee
drink, I'm
ballot.
drinking water.
Yes. Too much lead in the water.
Jack, when are dues due?
Huh?
When are the
Dues will be due July 1st.
Okay.
Yes. We're on the annual dues now, so the notices will go out in June and they will be due July 1st.
So what are we doing to promote the chamber and get more people to join?
Well, one, we're doing this, and we're actually going out to all the businesses ourselves physically and handing them this notice for this meeting, and also talking with the businesses as well, trying to get new members and any needs that the businesses have. So we're actually doing quite a bit in that respect, but it's more on foot, on the ground, versus actually.
So as a member, can I help you guys out with that?
Absolutely.
Give me some flyers and I'll help you.
Absolutely. Well, I'll make sure you get a batch next month,
All right.
and anything you can do to help to get us new members, we love it. Yeah. So, social media, the same thing goes out on social media. Social media is kind of half and half a little bit, it's really not as effective as getting out and talking to the businesses itself, and that we've found out. It's really hard to get people into the chamber just by a notice or giving them a membership application. It just doesn't happen. But when you actually contact with them and discuss some of their issues and how their business is doing and how we can help them, then we're seeing more memberships increase just through that alone. And that seems to be the more effective method than actually trying to do the social media. We still do the social media, but it's just not really that effective in comparison to actually going out and talking to people. So, just like you guys come today, that's invaluable right there. Just going out and actually meeting and talking to people. Because people want to see a face. They want to see who they're interacting with. Yeah. So, all the information to the members will be emailed out either later today or first thing in the morning on the election. All the final details and stuff like that, but I'm just doing a general announcement here. The elections will be May 20th, and we will arrange for absentee ballots as well.
So do new signups get to vote in the election?
If they're voted, they would have to be voted in this meeting in order to vote in the election, because the elections will be the first thing of the next meeting. So now, if anybody wants to run for the board, they can at any time up to the day of the elections run, but they have to be an outstanding member as of today as a member in order to do that. So they just can't show up the last minute and say, I want to run. There we go. Alrighty. That's pretty much it for general updates. Does anybody else have any questions on general updates with the chamber? Okay. And let's have some introductions. So let's start right here.
I'm Gretchen Winfrey. I'm the president of the Kernan Historical Society.
I'm Colin Snitchler, and I am with HydroStorm.
I'm Charlene Melchers, longtime resident.
Coming back to us.
Yeah.
Mike Bertel, Vietnam veteran. I am president of the Mobile Vietnam Veteran and host leader for Point Manage, the Veterans Therapy Group.
Linda Willis, I'm the secretary, one of the founding members, along with Mike of the Wall. We are here to talk to you about the possibility of bringing the AV wall to Rosamond this year.
I'm Joshua, I'm a resident, and I'm a member of Point Man. I'm here with them.
Francis Thompson, longtime resident.
Mike Kelly here, I'm the speaker today, so you'll hear me.
Okay.
Joel McKay, chairman of RMEC.
Laura Lynn Wyatt, District Director for Kern County Supervisor Zach Scribner.
John Joyce with the Rosamond News.
Alfred Wallace, I'm here representing the Rosamond Community Service District.
My name's Joe, I'm the treasurer, I'm also representative of Carl's Hardware.
Gene Melchers, I'm the president of the chamber.
And I'm Jack Miller, Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce. And before we get moving on to the guest speaker, I know you guys had something you want to mention. Why don't you go ahead and do that now?
Yeah, we can real quick. Like I said, I'm Joshua, I'm a member of Point Man. Along with being a Veterans Therapy Group, we're also the guardians of the Antelope Valley Vietnam Memorial Wall. It's a half-scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial Wall in D.C. Contains the names of the 58,281 men and women who died in the Vietnam conflict. We've already presented this to the school district at the board meeting last night, but we have an opportunity to bring this wall to our town for Veterans Day this year. The plan is to bring it in on November 8th, and it would be escorted into town and then be erected, assembled, and on display for 24 hours a day through Monday, and taken down Monday, November 13th. It would be set up in West Park Elementary School. It would give the students of our different schools an opportunity to come through, see it, speak to different Vietnam veterans, their stories. The reason we're here at the chamber is because this is kind of, our town's different than most. We don't have a city council and a parks and rec department, etc. We have different organizations running different things. I know the chamber puts on the different parades that we have in our town, the Light Parade and the Armed Forces Day Parade, and we're coming to you guys in hopes that maybe you would want to join in with this project and help to put on the Veterans Day ceremony, which would be Saturday, November 11th. Whatever else you may want to pitch in with, it's one of those things where it is going to take our community to do this, but as of the last census, for some statistics really quick, we have 20,500 residents in Rosamond. We have 1,896 veterans. That's a 9% veteran population in our town. The national average is 3%. That doesn't even get into Cal City, Mojave, Tehachapi, Palmdale, Lancaster. That's just our little town. So for us to have this opportunity to bring this wall here and live up to what our county sign says, where we honor our veterans. We have an opportunity to honor the veterans of our town, bring this memorial to our town, as well as helping all the businesses. With anybody who would come to visit this would then also be more than likely patronizing our local businesses at the same time when they're either coming into town or leaving town. So, any questions anybody has?
Her hands up, her hands up.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have actually a couple. What does it cost, and is your organization a nonprofit?
We are, absolutely are a nonprofit 501c3. We reside under Point Man International. So Point Man International is the mothership, and then there's Point Man Antelope Valley. There's Point Man groups all over the country, all over the world actually. And then the AV wall was built under the umbrella of Point Man. And so Point Man International actually owns this memorial display, and we travel it. We're the guardians.
Okay.
So yes, we are. We're a 501c3, and it's $7,500 to bring it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
If you could
answer-
email me your W-9, that would be great.
Yeah, we can, and we also, I brought a packet of information. There's just a whole bunch of stuff over here that you can just like look through and stuff, and I brought pamphlets
Okay.
and business cards.
And I
all
think
that.
Joel, we've emailed.
Yeah, you've
so
already
Yeah,
talked.
we
Yeah.
emailed up.
But if I could get the W-9, and then I can
Yeah.
kind of move things forward through
Find
the
out.
supervisor's office and see if we
Right.
can get you a donation.
Yeah, yeah, and it is. It's considered a donation. Here's the thing: we're flexible on the amount too. If that's just way too much and everybody's hair standing on it, we're flexible on the amount. We want this wall up and on display. Ordinarily, as a rule, it's up Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and then other various times. We've been in 21 different communities. We've never been in Rosamond. It's never been available, and we've never been asked to host the wall by Rosamond. So we thought we'd reach out. Palmdale opted out this year, and yeah, I know. And yeah, that's good for you. Yeah, Palmdale opted out, and then Josh reached out because he lives here and said, well, maybe we can bring it to Rosamond. We've been at Ridgecrest before, which some of you may have known. Has anybody ever seen this display? No?
I've seen it.
You've seen it? Okay. So, yeah, so we're exactly like half the size, we're half scale. Just to give you a tiny bit of history, not to take a lot of your time, but when, I don't know, 2004, 5, some discussion came up. So I work at the Palmdale Playhouse for 28 years, and it is called the Green Room, you're right. Good description, by the way, I was waiting for it. So when we decided we were doing a piece about women that served in Vietnam alongside the men. It's called A Piece of My Heart. When we were doing that production, we wanted to bring the wall and tie it together and have an event. Well, we couldn't get a wall. We tried it again 5 years later. Did the same show, tried to get a wall, couldn't get a wall. So at that point, in 2005, we're like, let's build our own. Well, everybody at the table looked at each other and said, what do you mean build one? You gotta be kidding. There's only 4 in the country. We're one of 5 now. So,
Yeah,
one of
thanks.
5 in the entire country. So if you've ever seen a display of a wall, there's several. One's owned by the government. It's the baby version of the wall in DC. That one travels. There's 2 of those. Anyway, long story short, we ended up raising funds, building the wall. Lots of money came in from different, from Assembly and Congressman's offices and Edison and all these different places. And we finally raised $100,000 to build it. It's built by Signs and Designs in Palmdale.
Oh.
But fully etched. It's completely, this is a grassroots. There aren't very many of us. Literally, I mean, we might look real well put together, but there's just a handful of us. And we do all of this ourselves. We have all kinds of educational materials. We have all kinds of stuff. And we really, really dug into our community. Well, when it was built, it was designed to be displayed in the Antelope Valley and surrounding areas. And that's in our original paperwork. So we have kept true to that to a huge degree, unless someone asked, hey, can you bring the wall? So we've been as far south as El Centro, and we've been as far north as Bishop. And the rest of it was kind of all here. Simi Valley, Lancaster, Palmdale, Ridgecrest, Bishop. Anyway, so there's an opportunity if you guys want to do this. We're willing to bring it up here. We don't need anything fancy. We just need a flat, level, and great place. We provide everything. We're very paint by numbers. We have a very strong base. We have host handbooks, volunteer handbooks. We train all your volunteers that work at the well. We have the educational packets to give to school for the kids. We've already got it all built in. You don't have to do any of that from scratch, just so you know.
Well,
So that's kind of how that works.
I can actually see this being a complete community activity, because you got
Yeah.
the historical society,
Yes.
you got the chamber.
Right.
You got
School
the county.
district, and we're gonna
you
go
got
to
the
RMAC tonight.
Yeah.
So the one thing I
can see
want to
that
tell
being a
you, as long as
collaboration.
this group is here and RMAC's already here, is that there's, we need to have one host though. Because so we're gonna go speak to 3 and maybe 4 different entities. We have to have one host of name. One person has to sign the paperwork. One person has to take the lead and be the belly button. And everybody else can help, but that person is our host. And it has to be one, and we have to, just to avoid chaos.
I would say realistically, if you gotta have one host, start with talking to Laura, and she will reach out.
Yeah.
And the rest of the
Yeah, you can decide amongst yourselves too.
Because she works closely with all of our groups.
Right, and to give you a tie, yesterday the school district said, can you please come back in 1 week to the meeting, because they need to do an actual board decision whether or not they would support it. And so they want us back next Wednesday at a meeting to give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
Yeah, well, Laura can
That's happening with us here, just so you know.
Laura can actually determine which entity in this community
Yeah.
would be the
That's
best
up to you guys,
host
and
for that event.
whoever the mothership is, it's.
And the rest of us, we would love to
Yeah.
help coordinate.
The rest is just kind of getting everybody together so that, as the saying goes, many hands make light work. We're all working together on this. We've got everything. But yeah, there's one point of contact with the wall committee, and everybody else just kind of pitching in to take their own little tasks, bring this together,
We have a
and
question
put on
right
a
here.
pretty good ceremony.
I do. About how many volunteers?
60-ish. I mean, we could have as many, we've had in Palmdale, because we're in the amphitheater, it's a big venue, and it depends on the attendance, but we need about 60 to 80. And it's because you can do, one person can do 1 2-hour shift. We encourage 2-hour shifts. You can take 2 back-to-back and do 4 hours, that's fine. It needs to have volunteers pretty much 24 hours a day. If people want to come and hang out from midnight to 2 a.m., it's nice to have volunteers there. We require security during the night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. We require security, be hired. But other than that, yeah, it's just nice to have people there that can look up a name. We have our own database. We have all of our own computers. We bring everything to you. We have the rubbing papers that you can rub a name, and we custom make them for you for your area, and we give those to you in an email. Brent?
7,500 covered the security required?
No, you guys have to
There's
provide
separate
security.
things, but
You'll have to provide security.
if we took that 7,500 and we doubled it, that still comes out to only $8 a veteran, so.
$8 a veteran.
I know, we're taking it
There's
to
Yeah,
target, make it short and
we
sweet,
gotta
even
get to our
though.
I
speakers.
guess what I'm getting at is you kind of need to know a total amount.
Right.
What this is going to cost.
And we can, yeah, we
there's
can
a lot
meet
of
with you again
information.
whenever, but it's, the only other cost, I'm gonna say to you, is if you have to rent fencing, if you have to rent a facility, if you have to, but you don't, if it's gonna be at the school, it comes with all that. And if the school district's on board, it comes with that. Your hard cost is going to be if you need to rent tents, maybe somebody has tents, so we can have some shelter.
There's just little
And the
logistic
security.
things we can get worked out. I know we're taking up your time, but we can get to all that later.
Yeah,
Right
let's-
now,
we
I
need to
gave
get
a
on
packet,
that.
I gave the guys a packet, and you can look at all that, yeah, you can look through
Yeah,
all the stuff.
only thing
and
I'll
give you
need
more
is a
information.
business card with it.
I'll make sure you got my contact.
Yeah. All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to our guest speaker, Kelly Bearden. And
Now, I think I noticed, sir, at the bar, I don't think you got to introduce yourself.
I did.
You did? Oh my God. Okay, so, well, I didn't hear your name, so I'm Kelly. What's yours?
My name's Joe. I'm the treasurer and also the calls.
Great. I always know that every time I sit at a bar and drink iced tea, I never get introduced. So, I thought you guys knew that out there. So, good afternoon. My name's Kelly Bearden, and I'm with California State University Bakersfield. We have a program that's off campus called the Small Business Development Center program. And the Small Business Development Center program, or called the SBDC, is in all 50 states. It's funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration and provides a lot of technical assistance to people who have already started a small business and are in operation, or would like to start a small business. So personally, I've been in this capacity as director of the center since 2012, and our territory is, we cover all of Kern. Also, we cover Inyo and Mono counties. I don't know where somebody didn't realize that Kern County was not big enough. Obviously, because you don't see enough of them. So in those 3 counties, we have about 15 consultants that are paid for already out of your tax dollars. They're no cost to you. They cost the Small Business Development Center to provide this service. And they are extremely seasoned, experienced consultants, advisors in a lot of different areas. We have marketing consultants, we have HR resources. Really, one of our main aspects of our center is to try to find access to capital and to try to find small businesses money in an area that has been more difficult over the last couple of decades. So that's basically what we do. We have a variety of different ways, and I know we have at CSU Bakersfield, I know we have kind of a sister campus right down the road. And I wished I would have been around when they actually built that campus. I would have said, put it over here in Rosamond, because if it's in Rosamond, I can spend more time on that campus. It's literally, our faculty are out there a lot from the Bakersfield campus, and administrators. In 11 years, I've never been on that campus because it's in LA County. So, I already got Kern, Inyo, and Mono. I don't need another. So never have even been on the campus of it. They tell me it's really nice and pretty. So, some of the things that we do at the Small Business Development Center and some of the programs that you need to know about, and you need to know about for your small businesses, is first and foremost, we have a program that actually is being administered by the County of Kern right now. So my Inyo and Mono small businesses, they don't hear this part of it. And I grabbed the brochure. I have a whole stack over there in English. For some reason, I grabbed the one in Spanish. So as you might guess, I'm probably not going to read this brochure to you right now. But I can tell you the highlights of this program. And what it is, it's a $2,500 micro grant program. And it's ending soon. It's been going on for businesses in the county. It does not need to be repaid. The micro grant program is for $2,500 for businesses that were in business in 2019 and had sales of less than $50,000. Now at the Small Business Development Center, you know, that's a hard area for us to reach because we work with a lot of existing businesses and they have sales greater than that. And, you know, it's a hard area to reach because a lot of the businesses, to be under 50,000, that is gross sales. That is not net profit. That's not the bottom line. That's your total sales. So a lot of times we see smaller home-based businesses that are doing maybe daycare and other areas, but it is a grant that's available, and it's only going to be available probably about 3 weeks into May, I believe, is when the program is going to end. But if you know anybody, you can contact our office. There's a number of us that are doing it in addition to the SBDC. There's 4 of us organizations, including the Kern Economic Development Foundation, the Women's Business Center, and we can help with the application process. There are a few more rules and regulations. If these businesses received some of the one particular grant-funded program during the pandemic, the California Relief Grant Program that offered $5,000, $15,000 or $25,000, they aren't eligible. So that's one program that I hope that we get a few more. Actually, the last application that I just signed earlier this week came from a business in Rosamond. And that was probably our second one that I'd seen. So if you know of anyone that's doing the small business thing, $2,500 doesn't sound like a lot of money to a lot of people, but for a micro business that has been struggling with cash flow, it can be a big difference. So that's one program that we have going on. A couple of the other things that are going on, that you should know about is Kern County has been designated. Out here, I don't see a lot of rain and a lot of flooding going on. Congratulations. And maybe even congratulations moving forward for what is maybe still yet to come. But Kern County has been designated a disaster area, a disaster region, and there are disaster loans to help both residents and businesses that were impacted by not only the floods, but also if you had a thunderstorm and there was these straight edge winds that come down. So if you had a roof blow off a business, or if you had some other damage from winds. We've seen some of that out in some of the desert areas of the country. But there is relief programs that are available through SBA, and also USDA has programs. As a matter of fact, our next guest on our webinar is going to be from USDA, and their rural development actually is going to have programs that are available as well to help anybody who has had issues with some of the disaster. And like I say, out in the more desert areas, the flat areas, around Bakersfield, up to a lot of flooding. Kern River Valley, significant flooding. Not so much out here in the desert, but we have heard a few people that have been impacted by those winds that actually. So keep that in mind as well. One of the programs that we do at the SBDC, because we have our 15 consultants that will meet with businesses, depending on your project. Sometimes they'll meet with you for an hour. And some projects are very significant, raising a lot of capital. Meet with them 10 hours, 50 hours, or 100 hours. So it kind of depends on the public good and the good that it brings to the community. And in the form of jobs and other aspects that are really benefits to the community. So that kind of is we usually have about 3,500 hours a month, or excuse me, a year that we work with clients on. We have about 800 clients in those 3 counties that are just doing consulting with us as of last year. And we also do other things. We do training. For example, back in 2012, when I saw how large my geographic territory was, so I could be sitting in my downtown Bakersfield office, and then all of a sudden I get a call from somebody in Mono County. And if they're at the north part of Mono County, it's like say up by Lake Topaz, that's 340 miles away. Now, I don't mind driving 340 miles, but I gotta drive back. So it's 680 miles. So one thing that we came up with in 2013, we started doing webinars. And we did it to meet that need. There was a problem that we couldn't get training out to small businesses, and we started doing webinars. And yesterday, we did our 272nd webinar.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations.
So 272 over the last 10 plus years. And we do them every Wednesday. Any business can jump on, they're free. A lot of very interesting topics that come along. Right now we're doing a lot of updates on the flooding that's going on. For example, we'll have USDA on this next week. Last week we had, as of yesterday, actually not even last week, yesterday we had a gentleman from Southern California Gas Company. And he talked about a unique program that the 3 gas utilities are doing in California. And this is very time sensitive up until May 7th. And they have a number of $5,000 grants that are given to restaurants. Now, restaurants have had an issue as far as coming back from COVID, coming back from recovery. There was a lot of issues going on with not only trying to find people to come back to work, but also the supply chain of food. And I think we've all noticed a little bit of inflation in prices that have occurred as restaurants try to survive. So they came up with a $5,000 grant, a resiliency grant, and I can give you more information if anybody wants that. And that's what we had on our webinar yesterday. A week ago we had an SBA disaster program, but 2 weeks before that we had a program because another big issue we're seeing coming out of COVID is that, and this is nationwide, is that since COVID, we've had 60,000 less child care workers in the U.S. than we had going into COVID. And in every community that I go into, I hear from small businesses that their employees are having a problem with child care, and some of them are not returning to work. Many of them, men and women, not returning to work. So what we've kind of working with a group called Nurture. They've come up with a program to where what we're doing is we are providing training, because really a lot of small businesses that are doing childcare don't make it because they don't have the business background, the business acumen that is necessary to make a profit. So there's training to try to train those small businesses. Then they work with one of our advisors, and you put the training and the advising together. You get the one-on-one and you get the support that goes with that. And then also you throw in, a business plan that we assist them to write. And then they go through a training class, and when they do those 3 things, they receive a $1,000 grant, and then we try to find them even more money. And because it has been determined that, it's very costly to go out and rent facilities. So it's really this child care out of your home concept that is really coming back, we're trying to bring back. And we're trying to bring it back. We have representatives in Kern County, I think about 6 women that started the training program this week. And what they hope to do is they hope to be able to actually launch child care businesses out of their home. So, and hopefully do that soon. So then the week before that on our webinar, as I just, wow, this is easy. I just talked about what we've already talked about the last few days. Actually, it was a meeting I was with John in Ridgecrest at the Eastern Kern Economic Alliance that John regularly attends as far as myself. But I talked to a gentleman there, and I think we started now to hear a lot about ChatGPT and other forms of artificial intelligence and what they're starting to offer and what's going on out there. So 4 weeks ago, we had a gentleman come on and explain how that works for businesses and how really businesses right now can take advantage of it. There's a lot of different factors that you can see with ChatGPT. You can write a press release, for example. You can convert that to a couple different languages. And the reason I'm telling you about all of our past webinars is because we have 222 of them on our YouTube channel, and you can access them at any time. So, and the good thing is that since I usually come on and talk about a lot of the issues before our guest speaker for 15 to 20 minutes, we have them all time-stamped so you can skip me entirely. Isn't that incredible? I mean, I love technology when it works like that. So every one of those, and we're up to about 325 subscribers. Our YouTube channel is CSUB SBDC. That's simple on YouTube. You can jump on and you can watch any of these topics that I just talked about that have happened in the last 4 weeks. So reach for us. And thank you, Laura Lynn, for inviting me. So it was great to be able to come today. But what you do have resources, and you have access to our advisors. And our advisors now meet with a lot of people with Zoom. We were meeting with clients on Zoom up in Mono County since 2016. And let me tell you, back then, it was like we would spend the whole first hour getting used to each of us being able to know how to use Zoom. The whole hour. And then it's like, well, okay, let's meet again next week. But the little thing called the pandemic changed all that, and now we're all Zoom friendly. For most of us. If not, you can become Zoom friendly rather easy these days. So a lot of our consulting now is still going on Zoom. So we're really kind of using a lot of the resources with the internet. You get kind of judged by a lot of the things that are going on and a lot of the successes that we see, and a lot of those are occurring in us trying to find capital for small businesses. We do an event called for years we did the East Kern Capital Summit. That at one time was going to come to Rosamond, I guarantee you. We had 3 of them, I believe. One of them was in Tehachapi, one was in Cal City. The third one was planned for Ridgecrest when the pandemic hit. But now what we're starting to do is, because the great thing about these particular conferences is we've taken Shark Tank and we've flipped it around. So you don't have a business up there presenting to people that has money. We have the people that have businesses in the audience, and those that have lending programs, that they have equity programs, and they have other capital programs. They come up and talk to you about 15 minutes about what they're looking for and how they can fund your business. So they've been very successful in really kind of opening up a lot of different areas. And we do that also in Kern and also in the Eastern Sierra, so we try to do 3 a year. And we will have one later this year. We're anticipating having ours in East Kern again. So, and the nice thing is now that we have the technology, now you don't have to drive to Ridgecrest to watch it. All you have to do is, because generally we'll do it live in front of a live audience. We will record it for on-demand purposes later, and it will be live on the internet at that time. So there's really 3 ways to view that content that stays fresh and kind of cuts out that driving at $5 a gallon and time that it takes to get places and things like that. So that's a resource that we're really proud of and really bring to you. But I want to make sure you have some time for some questions. I know you're still looking for a bank branch, right, John?
Absolutely.
I have asked a couple of lenders about that, and a couple of them had expressed interest. But I know.
Do they know the population of Rosamond?
They probably don't, but they probably should.
Yeah. Tell them 25,000.
And it seems like when I have even mentioned it to some lenders, and I won't mention them by name because we still hold hope that they might be. And I don't want to put them on the spot. But really, with lending, so much has been closing branches rather than opening branches. So much of it is now going to these newfangled, high-tech versions of an ATM machine. And the ones that I have talked to say most likely that's what you'll get. But if it's better than what you got now.
That's right.
So I am going to continue to look out there, and I still have a couple leads, and I have a couple of ideas. I think you'll have one within the next 15 minutes. So questions?
I have one.
Yeah. Oh wait, she's first.
Then
I'm sitting next to her. I got to pick her first.
Thank you. And I smell good too, right?
Smell fantastic.
I smell you over here.
Where's this going,
smelling
Fran?
person in the room.
So I'm just sniffing out rounds here. All right. So by the way, you were talking about money to small businesses. We've been hit with a lot of vandalism in Rosamond that have smashed windows, and these plates are not cheap. $600 to $800. Is that available to small business? Because there was a gentleman here that thought he was going to probably have to just get out of the business because he's been hit twice, and that's expensive.
I don't know the program that does that. That is really tough. And I was sweeping up glass yesterday at about this time yesterday, a couple hours ago, from our downtown Bakersfield front door. And it was really fun when the guy came out and put the plywood in. This is what shocked me. First call to put a plywood in, a screw gun in, was $750.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like $450. But it was just like, oh gosh, I'm just gonna run to Depot and this plywood, get my screw gun and do it myself. So yeah, I know the problem. I know it, and I don't know of a program out there that just works kind of with that. I mean, it'd be great if we did with some of the programs that we have, but I don't know of one that just. I know that some communities have like a graffiti removal that'll work with vandalism, but I don't know a lot of what's going on with broken glass and things like that.
So maybe you can introduce that to your organization and ask them if there's a situation where they can help with that.
I will mention it. Yeah.
That's it. But I did have a question. Have you heard of any resources for charging stations?
Oh, yes, I had. I just can't remember though.
That's a project that we're working on.
It's been a little while, and I'm not real sure. I'm gonna have to go back and recheck. But there were some programs that were going on. Obviously, some were funded out of the wonderful Volkswagen diesel scandal. And I think much of that money is probably gone. I know there's a ton of it in the infrastructure bill, but I haven't taken time to understand how difficult that is. I know we've worked with 2 or 3 clients, but I haven't worked with them directly. Our consultants have. So let me get your information and let me go do a little bit of research on that.
Yeah, because there appears to be a little bit of politics going on with
talk to them. And as to who wants to control all that revenue office. So we have a project, but we're having trouble getting resources to continue with it.
Well, hopefully you don't run into that vandalism problem. I think I read something recently where 1/3 of charging stations have been vandalized and 1/3 of the capacity is over. So,
Who would do that?
not me.
That's where we put electric handles on the charge stations. So they try to vandalize.
Oh, the good old days, huh? Yeah. I used to have a cow problem. Of course, I had a cow, so that's a good reason. And she knew I never used it. So
Yeah.
just a side.
No, that was really my main question.
Are there any other questions?
I just think the programs are amazing. I don't have questions, but I was sitting there listening going, wow. No clue.
I know it's
I
tough
mean,
to
I
get
don't even
word.
live in Rosamond, but I'm like going, wow, this is really neat. You know? There's
Yeah.
so much out there people don't realize.
And when you see programs like the child care program,
Yeah.
it's such a problem. And
I know.
and they filled up their first training group this week of 40 people.
Great.
So and it's going to be offered repeatedly. So I'm going to keep saying it. Hopefully we can get more and more. Because with some people it works great. I mean, if you're a mother and you have 2 or 3 children that are school age, you're probably paying $2,000 a month for child care if you can find them. And all of a sudden, if you save that, and then all of a sudden add 3 or 4 more children, and get some basics on how to run the business, make sure you run it like a business, you can do well for yourself and actually stay home and raise your children. So there's a lot of good things that are coming out of from the people that are actually starting to get involved in this program. So if anybody's interested in the Kern County Micro Grant Program, I do have some English brochures over there and Spanish. Anybody, you can tune in anytime for our webinar, and also you could look at our, you can even suggest somebody who you'd like to hear on it. Try to reach out and grab. There's a lot of interesting
I'll
topics.
say something to help you out there, Kelly. Regarding the webinars, if you can follow them on Facebook, and every Wednesday they post the link, and then there's a lot of groups such as chambers, economic development councils, city councils, things like that. They then take that and share it on their page. So Jack, that's an idea. If you want to start getting these webinars out to your membership, start to follow, the Small Business Development Center's Facebook page, and then like clockwork, every Wednesday they're on there, and it's free. And it is an abundance of really, really good information that they have on there.
And see, it's so much better than being live like today, because, you'd get slightly embarrassed if you got up and walked out right now. But on a webinar, all you got to do is click and walk away. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows you did it?
Nobody. Well, somebody can. Somebody doesn't really have time to go look. So. Okay, well, thank you. It's great being here.
Thank you, Kelly.
Network. I see Robert Mesa, Quartermaster of DFW's here. You missed a good discussion, but I'd like you to meet these people right here that want to bring in the Vietnam Mall. Miniature Vietnam Mall. So we had a lot of discussion about community coordination with that, and I think you'd have a lot of input on that as well.
Yeah, Matt?
Sure.
Of course, some of you are remembering, my name is Robert Mejia. I'm the quartermaster for Post 9657 here in Rosamond. I've been talking with my members and getting some ideas for Rosamond community. And I start off with the Armed Forces Day Parade. We're having that in the works. I'm getting the base involved on that. I'm getting some of the active duty personnel to be on that. Also, as an idea was pitched out to me for well, we've talked about at the chamber about doing a car show event. It'd be downtown Diamond, and we're looking at 9/11. That was my idea for the businesses. Making it because Palmdale and Lancaster is not going to put one on. My understanding. Am I right or wrong?
I work for the city of Palmdale. I don't know anything about anything like that, so you're correct.
So that's the idea that I'm pitching right now. It would be a great business opportunity for everybody for events, which is going to be in downtown. I'm looking at about 2 or 3 car clubs to come out, possibly about 100 vehicles. If not, if I can get the active duty personnel, the forward support squadron. They have connections to the exotic car shows, and I'll see if I can get some exotic cars to come out. But it's based on the input and cooperation with the community as well as businesses. So who would ever like to sponsor a trophy for best in show, best in class, and car and motorcycles, I would say. So those are the things that I've pitched out to my members. I have a couple members that are looking in getting a band for the stage over by next door to the chamber. So those are other items to consider. So those are the things that I brought up. As for our post, we're open for everybody to come in and look around. It's been there since 1960. I just found a book just recently of old photographs of the business itself when it was first established back in 1960 with all the permits and stuff like that. And I was really a little history behind it, what it used to be, because it used to be called a different club, and the Hoo La La Club. I don't know what that meant, but back in the 60s, some of us were all kids, you know that. Except for Jack. Jack was around. Probably been hanging out over there.
You got to do a shadow box with all that. That would be so cool. Yeah, right?
Well, I just found these albums. It's all just 2 albums of the beginning of the post. So those are the things, a little bit of history of our community. So other than trying to get more members and the community involved would be great. I'm also trying to set up a fireworks stand. I got to find a location to put a fireworks stand up for this 4th of July as well. So if you have any questions for me, just let me know. I'll be around for a little while. So anything else, Jack? Thank you.
All right, thanks. All righty.
We've got our RMAC meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. Come on.
There you go. RMAC meeting tonight, 6 p.m., Hummel Hall. Any other announcements?
Yeah, we're going to have Health and Human Services and these people from the AV Wall speaking tonight. So come learn about what services the county offers.
Okay, Health and Human
Sources.
Human Sources.
Services.
That's kind of a tongue twister there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the yes, Fran, please.
You guys, be careful today. I guess it's a smoke out day. So.
420, yes.
And by the way, it's crazy on Diamond Street, and we almost got hit out on Sierra Highway this morning because these people are driving crazy. So be careful. And it's very crowded.
Yeah, I noticed that on my way up when I was going by the chamber. It was getting a little crazy today. So drive safe today. And yeah. And if you reek of that stuff, then you're part of the problem. So anyhow, finish your meals. Thank you everybody for coming, and we'll see you next month. I guess one last item was last month I said that Jean was up for election. I was incorrect. I researched it better. It's actually Joe, our treasurer, is one. It's just one position open for vote next month. So Joe will be running. Were you still going to be running now, or? And now Willis is still running. So that'd be our 2 candidates next month for vote for the board and the treasurer.
Yeah, I'm not running for treasurer now.
Well, that'd be about
The position open.
Yeah. So is that a yes running or no running?
For director.
Board member. Well, you can still run for board member, but
He's our treasurer, so somebody's got to do it. And that would probably be you.
So we'll leave it up to you.
Oh, yeah, you did.
You decide not to. You can think about it coming out.
Yeah, he's.
Alrighty, well, thank you for coming, and see everybody next month. You don't have to rush off. It's the end of our meeting announcements. You might want to touch base with